Hi everybody, Michael Walker, Secondary Tech Integrationist. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the October Tech Tip for Links, which is using tech integration to set objectives. And as always, I'm getting a lot of this information from the text Using Technology with Classroom Instruction That Works. It's tied very nicely into the textbook that you're using, or the old version anyway, but it still has a lot of good applications. And as we take a look at this particular topic, there's lots of different areas. We're going to focus mainly on two, but I want to bring up another possibility for you, and that's the old KWHL chart. If you go into Google Docs and select from template, if you wanted to create something new, you can actually find a lot of KWL, KWHL type charts right built into Google Docs that you can use with your students or for yourself in front of students. So take a look at that as a resource. In addition to that, some organizing and brainstorming applications like MindMeister and Glyphy can be good. MindMeister actually is an app right within our Google Apps for Education that you can access under the More menu when you're in Google Apps. Data collection tools, Google Forms are also a great way to pull some of that information in, whether it be for an IEP reporting form for special ed teachers. I've got a template created for that I've been working with Southview staff and a couple of Valley View staff with. That's an effective tool to get at data like that. It also can be a good tool for exit cards, having a Google form for that. The two that we're going to focus on there are rubrics, and we're going to talk a lot about the Rubistar site, which is a great site for developing rubrics. And then right within Moodle, if you've got a Moodle course, you can build rubrics right within there. In here, there are some video tutorials, and if you go back to the actual slideshow part of this, you can go through and see how to use Rubistar. So I've got some resources there and how it works. Here's an example rubric on Inter-Right training, for example, looking at different categories. It's interesting, a bunch of us TOSAs were up at some training on standards-based assessment and looking at rubrics, and they said that if you're using a rubric with parents, emerging may not be the best one. It's one that I used to use quite a bit, but parents think about birth or things emerging from swamps and stuff like that, and so you might want to pick something a little bit different, according to Thomas Guskey anyway. Now built into Moodle is the ability to create your own rubric. So if I switch over here and take a look at our course, I could go in, turn some editing on here. Like I was going to add something, I can go in and add an activity of a rubric. And I can go in, I can define it, I can set up the sample, I can go in and give a summary of what I'm assessing. I can go in and enter the number of rows and columns. Remember to always kind of include that part. I can set it up as a self-assessment, a peer assessment, or a questionnaire. So that's kind of a nice feature, setting up the modes, and then I can display it. And when it comes up, I come here and then click to create the rubric, and this is where I actually build in the different items. So here's the items that you might want to have. Here's the performance level, whether we go with emerging or whatever you decide to use. And then you can go in and select your criteria and then define exactly what it means to fit this criteria. One of the things we learned today, that when you're setting that up, think about the top value, for sure define that first, then define the bottom value, and then fill in the middle part, yes but for the third level, or proficient in this case, or no but for the novice or the second level in this case. That's a way to handle that. So getting back to our thing, so take a look, there's a video built in here that goes step by step through the process. Additional resources, rubrics for web lessons, landmark project rubric machine, which is a nice feature. I personally prefer the Rubistar site. This UW Stout Tech Rubrics, if you're doing any multimedia or any project involving technology, it's an outstanding site, and it's linked right on that presentation. Now, this being the video part of it, these links aren't going to work, but if you go back to the presentation in Moodle, which is right above this one, you'll be able to see that. And I'll just quickly go to the UW Stout one, because that one is kind of nationally renowned for the types of rubrics and things that you see, and you can kind of see cooperative learning, process reports, oral presentations, Web 2.0 tools, mind maps, web pages, and e-portfolios. All kinds of different options, blogs, even for Twitter. If you wanted to use Twitter, there's a rubric for dealing with that. So this is a wonderful site with lots of great rubrics for dealing with things involving technology. So think about how you might do that. If you have further questions, feel free to give me a call, contact me. And if you have a question about technology that you're still struggling with, create a new thread on that Tech Tips forum in Moodle up near the top of the page, and you can ask your question. I'll be able to answer it, or even if you see that come through in your email and you know the answer, go ahead and answer it yourself as a way to kind of help support everybody. So with that, happy October, and we'll see you down the road.